So I can see those distant mountains. This is Lake Ossipee, and I can see the distant mountains in there, but I'm going to emphasize those a little bit more. So I'm going to kind of pull in my, right into the sky color I'll work. So I've got my greens, and I'll kind of cool it down. I'll even add a pinch of black into it.
Hi everyone, I'm Linda Marino, a live wedding painter, and today I'm at the beautiful Castle in the Clouds in Moultonborough, New Hampshire. This historic estate, built in 1914 by millionaire Thomas Plant, sits high above the Ossipee Mountains, offering breathtaking views of Lake Winnipesaukee and the surrounding countryside. Originally intended as a lavish private residence, the estate now serves as a popular destination for visitors and events. With its sprawling gardens, historic buildings, and charming carriage house, this is where Michelle and Alan will be getting married today.
I need that today. So my palette is really considered a limited palette, but what I use is, I've got yellow, red, and blue. That's my limited palette. I'll just put a touch of the browns on, a transparent red oxide, and a burnt umber. And I always like to put a little bit of ivory black that helps bring the chroma down when it's a little bit too bright for the day. We will use, this is a primary magenta, so that would be helpful for those roses. I've got a naphthol red, yellow ochre, Indian yellow, and my lighter yellow, azure yellow, ultramarine blue. So that's my primary set. And so what I'll do is go ahead and put some of the colors down, kind of put it on a bead, a line, so that I can kind of pull from either side when I'm painting. And one of my favorite colors for the landscape is this yellow ochre, which I use. As you can see, I don't have any green on my palette, but I always like to mix my yellows with the blue to make my greens. It gives it a much more natural color, as opposed to taking the greens right out of the tube. They're awfully bright and very high in chroma. And although the rain today is making the colors very bright in some areas, I can always pop it up and make it brighter, but I like the softer palette. So there's my primaries. And then I'll put a little bit of brown on. These brown and black, they both help to tone down a color, neutralize it a little bit. And maybe just put a pinch of my favorite, which is a transparent red oxide. So that's basically my palette. Put everything back. And kind of stir everything, my reds and blues together, my yellows together, and I just keep this open so it's easy access. So now I'll grab my brushes. I'll start off with a nice big flat brush. So I'm going to decide whether I use, this is like a number 12, I think, flat brush, 14 flat brush. But down on the bottom I have a wash brush as well. So there's a possibility of using this brush too. I love using those larger wash brushes. Get some paper towel ready. I got my drawing set, and I'll start with some of the sky. So quite misty. And the only challenge that I have right here is I've got quite a bit of light coming out there, but it's under this covering. It's very dark over here, so I'll have to check my colors. I might turn the easel a little bit to check them, because it's quite dark under here, but I'll give it a shot. So I'll just start off mixing my ultramarine with the white. This is quite bright, so we're going to dull that down And I'll use the transparent red, which is like an orange. It's its complement. And we're going to test this out. I can kind of see what it looks like on the palette right now, but we'll put it right on the canvas and see. But knowing that this is my base and I can always go over it, I'll probably go over it with 4 or 5 more layers on top of it, adjusting the color to what I want it to be. This just gives me a good start. You know, you got to get the canvas started, and then I'll make adjustments as I go. So we got some of that warm tone in there that helps to make the blues and the transparent red oxide. It really helps to bring those two to kind of a nice warm gray. There's some cool out there, so we'll balance it off between the warm and the cool. Too cool, then it makes it too subtle. I like the complements of the warm and cool together. Okay, we've got the backlight on the canvas. Oftentimes when I'm plein air painting, I'll bring like another board to put behind so I don't have the backlight of the outdoor light coming through the canvas. And we've got the wind to deal with as well. But we shall make it work. I know Michelle, this is the scene that she had in her mind, her vision was to have the two of them, her and Alan, up here for their ceremony. Ceremony might be inside just because of the rain. I think they did call it. Doesn't look like they're going to set up the chairs out here. So I can see those distant mountains. This is Lake Ossipee, and I can see the distant mountains in there, but I'm going to emphasize those a little bit more. So I'm going to kind of pull in right into the sky color all work. So I've got my greens, and I'll kind of cool it down. I'll even add a pinch of black into it. And let's just see what happens when I put those in. So I'm looking to capture. I can see them kind of way in the distance, very soft, very subtle. And I see the water, I see the lake. Let's kind of vary that color up a little bit. Okay. All right, and I'm trying to do all of this without wiping my brush, so I'll just clean off my water here. I'm going to add some of the lake in, so I'll bring this to a little bit more of the blue. And definitely will be adding quite a bit of white in here. The sky is, the water's still reflecting the sky. So everything is very subtle, very soft. I'm just trying to get these layers in. And as they come closer to me, I will fill in the water in the background, but as these layers come closer to me, I can see the greens become a little bit more vibrant. So the chroma gets higher, but not too high, because we don't want really bright greens. Chroma is the actual hue, the color of the paint. So this is the highest chroma of every single color when it comes right out of the tube. So the hue is yellow, and this is the highest chroma. So the minute I take the yellow and I mix it with a little bit of white, I drop the chroma down, and it's also the value of it goes down, or lighter in value. So I'll just add that into here, add a little bit more blue in, And I really want to make these shifts so subtle. That's a huge jump. So I'll start adding some sky in, the sky color. And one really cool effect with the acrylics is that even if I get the colors in and they're quite bright, I can always tone them down by using a glaze to go on top of it. I like to work in the glazes a lot because it really helps to unify the painting as well as bring things forward and move things back in the distance. We're trying to create this illusion of 3 dimensions here. And by doing that, we're going to not only change the value, but change the chroma, the intensity of the color. So I'm adding in a little bit of this Indian yellow just to kind of pop the color up a little bit, because as I was getting closer to these trees, this is a very beautiful overhang, but I can see the tops of the trees because there's a pathway that goes down. And so I'm going to try to get those. It's almost too dark. And I'm going to be very careful because this is the area where I want to put the bride and groom. So I don't want to add too much color here to make it too dark. That's dark. So we're going to kind of, that value has to go up just a pinch. And I'm leaving these gaps here for a reason, because I want to make sure I get these shapes down correctly. And I'll go and modify the shapes when need be, but I don't want everything to blend together, and that's one of the tricky parts when you're just painting lots of green trees, is you've got one band will run into the other, and you really need to distinguish those 2 bands from each other. And as I get down here, this is where the fence is going to start. Very cool stone fence. So I'm going to start putting that in. I might even tone that down a little bit too.
We had plans to capture the ceremony scene out on the back lawn of the castle with those stunning mountain views, but the rain had other plans. Instead, the ceremony moved inside to the carriage house, where I'm now setting up to paint. The space is so cozy and intimate, with a dark wood beams, soft string lights, and beautiful pink and white florals, adding a romantic touch. I'm excited to capture this special moment despite the change in the weather. Stay tuned as I bring this scene to life.
All around there's no one but you. Here, hold my heart. Stranger sound gets around us two. In between our sparks, you come and go like a monsoon rain. You had a show like a lightning bolt. You have it all. I go red when you're sitting nearby. I'm like a young child. Oh, it's silly how time just flies when we play and you hide. You come and go like a monsoon rain. You had a show like a lightning bolt. You have it all. And there's no one but you, no one. There's no stranger's sound gets around us too. In between our sparks, you come and go like a monsoon rain. You had a show like a lightning bolt. You come and go like a monsoon rain. You had a show like a lightning bolt. You had a show. You had a show like a lightning bolt.
If you like this video, please hit the button and subscribe to my channel for more behind the scenes content. And if you're interested in having a live event painting to capture your special day forever, you can reach out through my website. Let's create something unforgettable, capturing this moment forever.